death row inmate, mostly in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Becky.
Sorry,
Oh, so we'll just go on. So we are we are now gathering in this meeting some new participants for a thread, because some of the volunteers are gathering this faith table, and we will share our experience by riding to death row inmates, mostly in the USA, but not only. And for Becky then to share what you in Ohio you are doing to get to an abolition and a repeal deal, which will be okay. I think okay. Hello everybody, ciao a tutti gli amici italiani che si stanno aggiungendo. I will try to go on in English for all friends, particularly for those in Ohio. You can always raise on Zoom the hand up in case you need any interpretation, but I'll try to go on very calmly and softly in English. And then after Becky will tell us something about what's going on in Ohio against the death penalty, we have some time for questions and answers, so we can go on. Well, I would now thank everybody and share for a moment our just or I would like to share the screen, but I'm messing the whole some way. No. Can you see my screen now? No.
yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. I'm setting on full screen now. Okay. Sorry for I'm not the most computer handy in. So now let's start the presentation. Okay, sorry for sorry for some delay. Well, the story between the community of Sant'Egidio, a group of lay and religious people, not only in Italy, but spread in many countries, of friendship and main friendship between the death row inmates started in 1995 with this young convict in Polunsky death row in Texas. He was named Dominic Grinnell. In 1995, he wrote a very moving letter to the Italian newspapers, just asking for friends to write for him. The letter was printed on these newspapers, and some of the Sant'Egidio group were moved by these op-eds to start writing to him. It was the first touch between a religious community and a very distant world. Sant'Egidio was a group of people very connected with spreading the gospel and having always a connection, personal connection with the poorest. So it was quite natural to start this friendship in a very natural way by writing. It was a long story going on until sadly 2004, when Dominic Grinnell was executed. This story was the first getting in touch between a group from Italy and other part and the death row. Well, we discovered that writing and exchanging the letters through correspondence being temples was a first way to do our best together to preserve life and humanity in any condition. Well, this, after a first contact, Sant'Egidio got much involved, and for the year 2000 and the Jubilee of the Christian, there was a first attempt to gather a lot of millions of signatures on a worldwide appeal to have a death penalty stop worldwide. And this led to the start of two mainstream groups. Cities of Light, which is a movement of local authorities and groups involved in asking for the end of the death penalty worldwide, and together the World Coalition Against the Death Penalty, which connects in a bigger frame all local, all worldwide groups working on this issue. So really, this you well know about this story, but this this story of letters, starting from our home place, was the trigger to start a wider activity and worldwide connection, to do our best to help every group worldwide to have a better repeal of the death. Well, now we have had recently the not only the volunteers which were already in Sant'Egidio groups start writing, but many start ask to the community through our website to have that row convict people contacts to start writing. And this volunteering surprisingly had a great surge during the latest pandemic. Now you have the this photo taken out of Pickaway Correctional, in Ohio, which was an institution where became a gruesome monument of what happened to people connected to prison during the pandemic, because both the convicts but also a lot of staff were infected, and some on both sides died, sadly. And I think that Pickaway is the first image of what could have thought about Pope Francis when on the year 2020 he told about the pandemic left the whole world on the same boat in some way. And also the people who were in lockdown in their homes in some way thought and discovered that the death row inmates were in their same boat, because we were seeing too much death around us. Really, I think that when we saw so many people dying in our homes, in hospitals, in nursing homes and prisons, like the real failures of all the prevention against the virus. But also we now see wars. We see in the world a lot of violence, also domestic or connected with gunfire. Women, as everyone could have now a power to make harm, well, many discovered the power to preserve life and humanity through the letters, to the death. The role it means life and humanity in any condition. So we have a link. Why we have this particular link between the volunteers in Tuscany and the campaign to have a death row repeal in the Ohio state. The point is just a common convict older friend. You will know. I start together with other friends of Sant'Egidio, also some disabled friends. We share an art lab together to write some Christmas letters. And Gary Johnson from the from then the death row in Ohio answered back, and we start corresponding. Thank God, in 2006, his sentence was overturned to 30 to life. And you will know we are doing together a lot to have finally a parole. I take a chance for a moment to thank so much Paul Hipster for everything he's still doing for this case with my friends, family, and together. It's hard, it's tough, but really you deserve some public appreciation for what you're. Well, we had the chance to write. I went there, so we get the chance to also keep on with video visiting, also with my cat, in this case, entering in the world first ever convict meme online. But really, what this friend made a connection between his Italian pen pals and groups like IJPC working for death penalty repeal. So it was natural to get in touch and start work together. That's why Tuscany got in some way a first chance to work together with Ohio. Then Tuscany has this little particularity of being the first place ever in the world to sign a death penalty repeal bill. Now it was an earlier thing. In 1786, Tuscany had a Grand Duke named Pietro Leopoldo, who just signed a bill saying that torture and death penalty were abolished. And this was the start of a movement in some way, with progress and setbacks. We are still on that. This is just the start, but as Tuscanians, we deserve something to those places in the world where a death penalty repeal bill is still searched and an issue. So we worked also having, I have this on screen last year together to sign the letters from the mayor of Florence, which is the main city in Tuscany, and the we can say the governor of Tuscany, who now don't have any power in changing criminal law, but they vowed to important letters in support of the two Ohio death penalty repeal bills. These are quite the two wildcards that Tuscany gave to IJPC and the Faith Table and the rest of the not death penalty which campaign to spend with the legislators for any debate. At least the two cards we had in our hands. And then we will talk also about what's going on this year. We've just had it just ended today a World Congress of the World Coalition Against the Death Penalty. Cities of Life is a part of it, but it was a very important Congress, also with the support by the European Union. It's also it was at a very governmental level of support between a network of world association And the much significant participation was where the activists against the death penalty from Belarus. They were really threatened to participate. So you can well understand about the political and war situation, and they decided to be in Berlin and put really their face on this message. This means because war, all threat to life, triggered a reaction, worldwide reaction to preserve life and humanity. We think that death penalty repeal is one of the pieces where we can preserve life and humanity in a moment where we see really too much death. We're having now in Italy a lot of incidents in the non-regulated immigration, because immigrants are trying to get to Italy by boats in rough sea. Also, some children die with their families. And also, we have a very increasing rate of suicides in our correctional institution. And this is very sad. Also, tells a lot about it. We have to do something to change, little by little. Our approach is really one by one to make the difference in this way. Well, now we get to our chance to work together in a very simple way. We will have on this, again, November 30, a new International Day of the Cities for Life against the death penalty. So our message, together with all those connected with the Cities for Life, is shed light on the web against the death penalty in all parts of the world. Now you have the photo of an example, the lightning of the Cincinnati Cathedral on November 2017. But really, we can do this if we can shed light on a landmark, on our temple. Why not? But if Florence, we just got known from the mayor today that he will shed light on the Palazzo Vecchio, the ancient town hall, to say the city no to the death penalty worldwide. But also we can do this, do it yourself way. You know, if any of us could take on the night on November 30, a light, a candle, hold it. If where one loves, on the porch or in front of your community place or in front of a city landmark, locally and globally. In this way, take a photo and share it also on the web. This is one of a very simple way to make a kind of widespread, worldwide vigil against the death penalty in any place of the world in a very simple way. Well, this could be connected to meetings, to prayers, to everything. For example, in Florence, the Cities for Life is arranging again a meeting with the convict population of the local correctional institution. And this year, all convicts will be given by the mayor a book with all the interventions which were given to them by death row exonerees or testimonials coming from the USA to Italy for the Cities for Life events. And some of them, like Bill Pelkey, I well remember, Susan Bosler, but really many of them, in a very impressive way, had meetings with the convict population frontally and gave their witness. So the newcomers of this population, we have this intervention on a book printed out by our city council. This is very significant. Well, now I just get to the how to connect and share the photos or anything you can do. Well, this is the no death penalty section of the Sant'Egidio website. So you can take note of the link. The news about Cincinnati is it's not of this year, but just to give example, we shared the news, any news really worldwide from Cincinnati to is shared through this channel. But we also have some social media available. So Cities for Life is the Facebook account. You can share photos or any intervention shown on this media. Also, Twitter is available with the Cities for Life account in the same way. And last but not least, we also have the Sant'Egidio Instagram channel, which is available to share the photos and make this kind of sign of public and personal, connected, and public witness and sign and worldwide mob, if we can say, an unharmful, harmless movement for life and humanity against the death penalty. Well, I now just have, as we planned, to hand over the floor virtually to Pope Francis. He gave also to CMN, which I thank for making this video making possible, a message of the Pope's own statement against the death penalty. Well, I just only to say that his teaching is just erasing death penalty from the knowledge basis of any religion and of humanity. Now I give just give the floor to the Pope. Excuse me for
Francesco, under the share screen button, you might need to hit share sound. Francesco, can you hear me? I think it's my turn now. So thanks, Francesco, for sharing all that. I'm going to work really hard on talking slow. I talk really fast, so I'm going to do my best. So thank you, Francesco, for sharing all that. I think it's really exciting to get to connect with people who are working on this issue in different countries and who are supporting us. It's been a long journey for many of the people who have been working to end the death penalty in Ohio for years and years. I know Francesco is very close with Sue Prisoff, who is one person that comes to mind sometimes when I think about this work as well. So again, thank you for that, and thanks for the support. I'll share a little bit about where we are in Ohio, and we have some of the faces of some of the people who have been doing this work here too. And then if there are any questions, I will be open to hearing them. So for the first time, since the death penalty was reinstated in Ohio in the late 1980s, we had a bill make movement in our legislature, and has made more movement than it ever has. It's supported by both sides of both parties in our government system, which is really important because we need both sides to be able to move it. Both bills have had hearings in what we call committees. And once they go through those hearings, they get voted to the floor. We are waiting to see if those bills will, the House bill in particular, will make it to committee and get voted out onto the floor this year. If we do not pass this year, we will have to reintroduce the bills and try again next year. But that's okay, because a lot of the work that we have done now has been setting us up for success. And I would say some of those other wins too are not just how much we've moved the bill, but many of the connections that we have created within this faith table in general. And Faith Week, we saw a high number of churches and faith communities participate in doing something in their faith community to support abolishing the death penalty. We had the interfaith vigil that Francesco posted as well, or had on one of his slides, as well as just a lot of like the grassroots and relationships and connections that have been built through this work, I think are really important and exciting. IJPC also operates a pen pal program. So we have pen pals who have been writing with people on death row, and some of the folks on this call also take part in sending birthday cards and holiday cards to folks who are on death row as well. But again, I think Francesco said it, best, is that we are really that human dignity piece, and that is really important, and convening on that shared value, I think, is really powerful. So I'm grateful to have you all here today. And yeah, I will open the floor for questions if anyone has any. And I am going to take a picture of everybody in a little bit, just FYI. So if there are any questions for what's going on in Ohio, you can feel free to write them in the chat or unmute and ask. Or if other folks have questions for people in Italy, maybe that too. Well, if nobody has any burning questions for me, Does anybody have any burning questions for any of the pen pals or any of the people in Italy on from Ohio? You guys are all really quiet, making my job hard. Francesco, is there any questions or thoughts that you have or anything that I did not mention that you think I should have mentioned? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry, I missed the microphone on. Thank you, Becky. Well, I think this is just the start of the first contact. It's also the first time that together with many friends in Tuscany, with some we work together since years, but with some friends I would like to greet them, dire grazie. A amici toscani che ci hanno voluto raggiungere oggi. Thanks to all that joined. It can be also for us a chance also to get in touch. Oh, sorry. Donatella from Florence just wrote that she is not able to have a good connection, but she was nice to write in the chat. Yeah, and really we thank Donatella and all for this being here today, and there's also think it will be a first chance also for other friends. Is that we can keep on touch if you want, and have also our chance to be in connection for any support, because riding now has become much more difficult. Well, I shared a video taken during a video visit. Now this tool is completely out of service for all overseas users like us from Italy. Many of them started riding on services like JPay, and now simply the service was cut off for all those who are not resident in the USA. I am also approved the visitor. I went to visit my friend. I'm on the department list, but for JPay this doesn't make sense, and I'm just cut off because I have an Italian CIP. Well, if some friend would love to give a little help, it can one thing is just to allow me to put a wire address on my name in some way, but really just brief domiciliation, just to take back the service and get back to my friend Gary on video visiting, because I think if I could just legally put an Ohio CIP on my secure pay profile, I think that the online service will be restarted.
Yeah,
but really, just
I will talk to so what Francesco is talking about is that they have just in all the prisons in Ohio, they have just switched the service that they're using from JPay to GTL/ViaPass, which is causing issues because there's no way to set up like international connection. And they've been saying that they're going to do this switch for a very long time.
Okay.
They've been saying they've been doing this switch for a very long time, and they just kind of did it very quickly and without warning. So a lot of that has just been cut off. But Francesco, I will look into that too. And I might have think of ways that we can make that work.
Thank you so much. We are just doing all efforts with the people of Sant'Egidio for all those of us to write, also to do our best to restart the online contacts. But really, we start from plain letters with paper, envelope, pen, and stamp, and the letterbox, and with a lot of patience, friendship can go on anyway. But you know, we got accustomed to do things in a quicker, and so we would love to take back these visits or texting as soon as possible. Thank you so much for your help.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Francesco, and thank you everybody for being on here. If everybody wants to smile, I'm gonna take a picture on my phone real quick. So I'm gonna take the picture in. Awesome. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you, everybody. It was great to see faces and connect. And thanks, Francesco, for that presentation and everything. I hope everybody has a great weekend.
Thanks, everyone.
Ciao.
Thank you, Francesco. Thanks, Becky.
Bye.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Bye.